Hello and welcome to the Fulhamish Quick Take with me, Elizabeth Barnard, reviewing our devastating 1-1 draw in our last ever league game at Goodison Park. That one, it's going to live long in the memory and not in a good way. Fulham really knows how to make you suffer. I'm just going to give you a quick wrap-up of the game. There are some talking points, but equally a lot of it was very dull. So some bits to come on to. We'll start with the lineup. When it dropped at 4:15pm, I wasn't surprised by it at all, really. Starting off in the midfield, there was a lot of talk beforehand about whether Marco Silva should drop, specifically Andreas Pereira. We knew it wasn't going to happen, and obviously it didn't. He went for an unchanged lineup, I believe, in the middle. There was some chat about whether Harrison Reed could come in place of Smith Rowe or Pereira, and then either Smith Rowe or Pereira could play in the 10. So it would be Berger alongside Reed with Smith Rowe or Pereira in front of him. I would have loved to have seen Harrison Reed in the middle of the park today, but actually I don't think we really needed him. I don't think Everton was strong enough. So I thought the lineup served the game very well. And similarly, Issa Diop on the pitch. Not a surprise after Anderson's, I think, unfair sending off against Aston Villa. It wasn't a surprise to see Diop come in, and he did nothing to lose his place at the beginning of the season, so it was good to see him back in some ways. And as we joked about after the Villa game, if we want Diop on the pitch because he knows how to take a good penalty. The first half is low on talking points, really low. I thought we had a strong start, and I thought especially in the first half an hour that our press was really impressive. Everton kept losing the ball in their half. We kept putting that pressure on. They were sloppy, sure, but we were making them work for it, and we were winning the ball back consistently. It was such a shame that couldn't turn into a goal, though. I really felt that we would come on to rue those missed chances, and I was right. Obviously, I was one. There was a lovely cross from Andreas Pereira, I believe, and Smith Rowe takes it and puts it over. And it's a difficult shot, but I think Muniz would have bicycle kicked that, and it would have been really great. So that was a shame, and the sort of goal that you would want your informed players to be scoring. At about the half-hour mark, there was a scare from Everton, shall we say, when the ball went in the back of our net, and it was ruled correctly offside, but it was tight, and it was flagged by the linesman, but then it did have to go to VAR and it had to be checked, and it was really close. It just showed a slight lack of energy from our players, I thought. I don't think there's much we can do about the shot from far out. That's fine. It hits the crossbar. But then when it hits the crossbar, our players aren't moving to get it in the way that Calvert-Lewin is, and that is concerning and shouldn't be the case. And we're very lucky that it was ruled offside. And then just before the half, Tete's amazing run to get a very disappointing shot off at the end, but passes so many players. He really has that in his locker, Kenny Tete does. And it makes him so enjoyable to watch. I'm so glad he's back in the team. I think he poses a lot more attacking threat than Castagna. I do really like Castagna, but I'm really glad that this seems to be Tete's season and that he's getting a really good run in our team. Half time, not many talking points, and then we go into the second half, and it's on the hour mark, Alex Iwobi. You couldn't write it. First of all, I got to say huge props to Smith Rowe. There's been some discussion about Smith Rowe not performing the way you would want your club record signing to perform, and I've tended to agree with that. But huge props to Smith Rowe on his run past, I think, 3 or 4 Everton defenders, getting past them, really tenacious, and then getting the ball to Iwobi. It was absolutely the right decision, as we see, because the ball ends up in the back of the net. Amazing goal, amazing strike. Iwobi did a muted celebration, which was hilarious because he was so giddy and smiling, but obviously he was respecting his team, and I like a muted celebration. I think it was the right thing to do for sure. And then from that point on, we start making substitutions. Adama comes off, and Nelson comes on. It's interesting. I feel like Nelson's a difficult one because I don't really want to develop a player that I know is going back to Arsenal, but when he is on the pitch, he's got so much to offer. He's such a tricksy player. So I was really excited to see him. Andreas also limped off. I hope that's not a long-term thing. A bit concerning. I thought he was solid today, really good, and his work rate was really impressive today. So props to him for that. Smith Rowe came off for Reed, so trying to shore up that defence. And then Cuenca comes off for our goal scorer and pronounced man of the match as he's hauled off the pitch, Alex Iwobi. What could possibly go wrong, I hear you ask? obviously it could go wrong. Obviously it does go wrong. A ball is fired into the box and none of our players jump for it. Apart from Beto. Beto's not our player. He jumps for it and he gets it and he scores. And it is gutting, and it brings you back to all the moments this season and before that this has happened, bringing us back to Manchester United opening day, terrible, sort of last minute winner from them. And then for me, the biggest gut punch of all, which was West Ham at home in mid-September when they scored an equaliser in the last minute. And I think the reason why it's so frustrating is that we had been the better team clearly throughout the day, and we deserved to come away with all 3 points. And to lose it like that in the last minute to a really buoyed Everton team is just so painful, because we deserved to win that game. And props to Everton for getting the goal, obviously, and scoring it. And I'm delighted for them, as you can tell. But it is really, really disappointing. And it does show Fulham's softness in some senses this season. There was a real lack of gamesmanship and time wasting in the last few minutes from us. And lo and behold, we paid the price for it. It's really, really disappointing. And it makes me worry about where we go from here. Where we go from here is the derby against Brentford next Monday night. So I'm just hopeful that we manage to turn around our fortunes this time and use this as fuel in our arsenal to, ask what the hell's happening and get a good result against Brentford. But I'm not holding out the hugest amount of hope at this point. I feel really, really defeated, to be honest. We will wait and see. Sammy and the team will be back tomorrow with the podcast, maybe Monday actually. So you'll have that to look forward to. You can relive this game all over again, which I'm sure you want to. And then we will see you very soon after that as well. Come on, you Whites.